Hello and welcome to the service department here at the Isuzu Center of Excellence. I'm John Reno, National Manager of Uptime Training, and today I'd like to announce a new feature coming to Isuzu Connect that has been put together by our Uptime team, Decisive, and several of our dealers have tested. That new feature is called BDTM, that is Bi-Directional Text Messaging, or texting or SMS it's also known as. Up until now, Isuzu Connect has been predominantly based around email communication back and forth between the customer. Now with BDTM, we can also take advantage of those same features, having two-way communication, but now using text message with our phones. Not only do we trap the communication in the same way that we do with email, we can now do that with text message. We have also added a much improved method to manage your contacts for the customer and for each asset that comes into your dealership. Along with that, there is also a new simplified mobile estimate process that has been well received by the customers. Let's take a look at some of these features and we'll get started. Here's an example of the notes section that you are most likely used to seeing. The notes are at the top with the newest note up at the top, and your selection of contacts for the note are over to the side here, and the note section is here with the send button here. Let me show you what it's going to look like once the new feature is enabled. Once the new features have been enabled, you will notice the notes section looks very different. All of the notes will be to the left side with the newest notes still on top. But over on the right side at the top, you will see your groups of contacts, whether it's the customer or the dealer support or people internal in your dealership. And the note section will be right below it. The send note button now says create note, so it is slightly different than what you're used to. The next most notable difference will be when you're on the case information screen. As you can see, we still have our contacts, but when you click on the Create New Contact, it looks quite different. You will add the first name, last name. There's quite a selection of job roles, but now you have the ability to add an email address, to add a mobile phone number. You will need to, for the United States, pick the country of one for US and Canada. You can put an office number in here, but then you have the ability to check between email, text message, or both. So you can set this contact up as a primary contact or as the driver, and once you've filled in all the fields, you'll be able to hit the blue button down here that says Create Customer. Another noticeable difference will be when you're in a case, if you come over to the contacts here for the customer, you will notice that this page looks very different. Each of the contacts for this customer are listed here. You can see that we have chosen this contact as the primary and this contact as the driver. You'll notice out here at the end you have some options with each of these. If you would like to invite another contact into this case, you can invite the customer here. You can also edit the customer or you can delete the customer. If you click on several customers at a time, you have the ability to merge them into one contact. You can also invite them here or you can delete them here. So this is very different in the way that you would manage your customers. If you'll notice, the Create New Contact button is also on this screen. Here is an example of what the text message to the customer may look like when they are invited to the case. If you'll notice, the customer can even hit on a link and make some modifications to their contact information. Here is also an example of notes sent to the customer. Here's an example of a note that the customer responded directly on his phone right back into the case. Here's an example of what the note might look when a request for approval of an estimate is sent. You'll notice there's a link here that the customer can click on and view their mobile estimate. And here is an example of what that mobile estimate will look like for the customer. The customer has the ability to come into each operation and approve, decline, or defer the repairs. The customer can also click on this option here to be able to view the PDF of the estimate. It makes it very handy and very quick for the customer to simply on their phone approve or decline any of the or defer any of the repairs that you have sent them when you hit request approval. Now this video is just a short video explaining some of the most noticeable visual differences that you will notice. But let me show you a quick way to find out a much more detailed information. If you come down here to this blue icon down here and hit a search for help articles, if you come over here to help for case provider and you scroll down, you will see that there is a whole section for mobile access. In here is a bunch of articles about bi-directional text messaging, which will give you a much more detailed information about using and setting up your contacts. In this first one that is an overview, there's actually a video in here from Decisive. It is very informative. Highly recommend that you go through these articles and watch this video. There is one administrative task that you may need to complete once these features are added to your portal. Most Isuzu portals were set up requiring a contact with an email and requiring the complaint description. So once you have the new features enabled, you will need to go up here with someone in the dealership that has admin rights, go into the admin section, come over to customize your database, come down to case information, and right here, this field here, you will need to be able to change this from requires a contact with an email to requires any contact. This will allow you to use the case information screen with a contact that only has a cell phone number. Well, I hope you can see why we're so excited about these new features. A big thanks to the Uptime team for all the work that they put into working with Decisive and also our pilot dealers. The pilot dealers have noticed faster response times with text messages and a cutting down of their call volumes because they're able to keep the customer informed of the status of their vehicle via text message. So I hope you check out the help articles for much more detailed information. Also, a good idea is to make a test case. Use a cell phone number that is not attached to a user in the system or a user at the dealer, and send some estimates to that so you can get a feel for what the customer may feel like. Also, if you would, like and subscribe to this Isuzu YouTube channel. And also, don't forget about the Isuzu University, where there's more content there on Isuzu Connect. Look forward to seeing you next time.